Boom, we are back again. This is Simba the Speaker, your cleaning guide to cleaning business success. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. If you are new to this channel, I'm actually tangled up in my cords. Poof! If you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. We drop videos every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. If you are back here from being in the channel before, I want to say thank you for the constant support to both new and returning users. I always say please watch my previous videos. A lot of times my videos stack upon one another when it comes to the information that is being offered. And so with that being said, go watch the previous video because it helps when we talk about certain things and you have previous knowledge from the video before. And if not, that is okay. Once again, thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe once again. Now, before we go into the video today, we're going to talk about how to avoid bad hires in your cleaning business. How to avoid bad hires in your cleaning business. I want to talk about two things real quick. In the details of this video, there are two important links. Details of this video, there are two important links. Now, the first one is a school community. That's a community where you can learn how to pretty much start, scale, and automate, or start, automate, and scale your cleaning business, your remote cleaning business at that. So feel free to actually join that community. Now, the second one is even more important. It's a free consultation. Yes, a free 30-minute one-on-one consultation. Look, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. It is a free consultation. Look, maybe you're looking to start a remote cleaning business, right? Maybe you want to use the money to pay down debt, put money in your child's college fund, or you want to just take your family out on a family vacation, increase your income, right? You can run this same business model with a 9-to-5. It is possible, or you can run it and transition from a 9-to-5 to full-time entrepreneurship. It's about how you do it. So maybe you watch this video or my previous videos like, yo, I kind of want to get into this, right? Book that free consultation. Once again, look, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose, right? So with that being said, book the consultation and let's get into this video. So today I want to talk about something very important. Once again, I always say this, sometimes not, I don't say always, but you'll hear in my previous video, if you see me look left, right, down, I have my laptop, my monitors, right? So I try to get this whole setup, and I have this whiteboard for you guys so you guys can see some information I'm talking about. So read the information, write it down, because statistics show that when you write down the information, you retain it some more, but just listen to what I'm actually saying as well. Let's get into it. I don't like how close this is actually. How to avoid bad hires. Yes, how to avoid bad hires. So when you're running a remote cleaning business, right, and really when we say bad hires, right, I always try to, even though we talk about the remote cleaning business model, I always try to also cater to those that may want to start a cleaning business, even if it's on ground here, maybe in an office or warehouse or whatever. But when I talk about bad hires, what I'm effectively talking about, is really pertaining to onboarding subcontractors. Now, at the same time, you can use the same information for, let's say, hiring W-2 employees. But when we do talk about the remote cleaning business model, we're usually talking about onboarding subcontractors. So let's get into it. Okay. First thing I want to talk about is don't hire out of desperation. I did this. It sucks. It sucks. Don't hire out of desperation. When you're overwhelmed with job, it's tempting to hire the first person available, but that can lead to poor quality cleans, no-shows, complaints from clients, refunds, recleans. A bad hire costs more than waiting a few extra days. All of this has happened to me. All of this has happened to me. Now look, this is what I always recommend. I understand that depending on the subcontractor that you're working with, it's either to then get a subcontractor when you already have jobs lined up. But it is okay to start with 1 or 2 subcontractors, find 1 or 2 good subcontractors, right? And we'll talk about the test cleans over here, but find 1 or 2 subcontractors, maybe do a test clean with a family or a friend, and just have them on standby for when the bookings come. Because the problem is getting contractors is probably one of the hardest things within the remote cleaning industry, right? Even hiring, even if you're doing a cleaning company on ground, even hiring can be one of the harder things to do. So with that being said, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you're not hiring out of desperation. Try to get, even if it's one contractor, even if it's just one contractor that could take a couple jobs a day, get that contractor first so that you're not hiring out of desperation, right? You want to be able to sit there and hire because someone is actually really good. Poor quality cleans does happen. They're going to lead to refunds and reclean. Complaints from clients lead to refund and reclean. No shows will 100% lead to a refund, right? And we try to really avoid refunds within the cleaning industry, right? So with that being said, don't hire out of desperation. If anything, just get one contractor, right? Get one contractor that has probably a couple people within their team that you can work with that is not desperate for jobs, but they're willing to take more jobs. Once you get that contractor, just have them on standby so that when it's time to actually do get bookings, you can just give them the booking. And at that point, instead of sitting there and being desperate about not having a right contractor, at that point, all you really need to do is just control the amount of bookings you can take, right? And remember, you can take multiple bookings, but you may just not be able to take them all on the same day, right? And so, with that being said, let's say you got 6 bookings. Don't get me wrong. If you have the type of team, right, we want to get all 6 bookings out as soon as possible. But with that being said, if you have 1 or 2 teams, let's say you don't have a lot of teams, or if you have 1 team, spread out the 6 so that they can adjust their availability to help you. So that's one way to avoid it. Next one, using a simple screening process. Before even doing an interview, filter candidates, ask basic questions. These questions are non-negotiable. Do you have cleaning experience? Do you have reliable transportation? Are you available during peak hours? Are you comfortable working independently? Another one that we can add on, I didn't add this on here, but another one we can add on, do you have a partner? And I'm going to add this one on because this one, especially for subcontractors, is very important. Do you have your own cleaning supplies? So remember, when you're running when we're talking about this, right? Well, for example, are you comfortable working independently, right? This is definitely going to cater to a lot of W-2 because usually more subcontractors are going to have multiple people. But when we're talking about the remote cleaning business model, right? Having the team having their own supplies is going to be essential, right? And like I said, if you're just running a regular cleaning business, right, at that point, then obviously they don't really need their own supplies. But when we're talking about the remote cleaning business model, this is going to be an essential question. But before we just harp on that, right, or to not harp on that, what we're trying to do is remove people who aren't serious or qualified. If people are not able to answer yes to all of this, cleaning experience, reliable transportation, available during peak hour, comfortable working by themselves or with a partner, and having their own supplies, they may not be right for your business. Now, once again, I can't tell you how to run your own cleaning business. That is strictly up to you. But the basis of this and what I really want you guys to get out of this is we need to have a simple screening process that filters everybody out before we spend time doing an interview and before we spend time doing the actual test cleaning or the trial cleaning. So you want to make sure that you have your set of questions, and these are good set of questions. Like I said, these are really good ones to write down. You want to make sure that you have your set of questions that are very important. That's like, okay, before I even consider moving you to an interview stage, do you even have the basic qualifications to be a part of our team and to receive jobs from us as well. So you don't want to skip the simple screening process. The next thing we're going to do, let's say they get through this, then we need to talk about the actual interview questions, right? Instead of only asking about experience, ask behavior-based questions, and now we can talk about actually how they work within the setting and what to do in certain situations. So what do you do if a client complains? I'm gonna spread this out more perfect. What do you do if a client complains about something you missed, right? What would you do if you accidentally broke something in your home? This is why we require our subcontractors to have insurance. Check out our last videos, our previous videos. We talk about this. How do you make sure you don't miss areas while you're cleaning? These questions reveal how they think and solve problems. This ensures jobs are checked before leaving. When we're going to do these interview questions, now that we understand that we've conducted a basic, simple screening process to make sure that, okay, they're at least fit, right? They're at least fit for they're at least fit for the job. Now we need to make sure that they actually have the customer service aspect, right? And if you look, how do you handle what do you do if a client complains, right? Or if you accidentally break something or you miss an area. A lot of these things are more so service based questions, right? How do you handle clients and how do you handle service if the service is not done well, right? And so we want to make sure that within those interview questions that we're touching base on that, because this more so it's like a mindset in the field question, right? This right here, we're just trying to see if they have the basic qualification, but now this right here, how is your mindset when it comes to the industry? If you do have experience, how do you handle these things? Because the experienced cleaner would know how to handle these things, right? And so these are great interview questions to ask to say, okay, you know what? You passed the basic screening. I know I can at least invest my time into ask you some interview questions. Now that you've passed the interview stage and you think we can move forward with you, then obviously we can move forward with the documentation and getting them going. and then we can run this trial clean, right? And people do it in a different way, right? Some people do the documentation and the trial clean. Some people do the trial clean first, see how they work, and then if they like the work, then we're gonna proceed with the documentation. It is up to you. Same thing with the interview questions. You have to understand what interview questions are important to you. Same thing with that I said with the screening process. What screening questions are important to you? So you need to understand that for yourself. And then so from there, once we kind of figure out the interview questions, then let's say we want to move forward with them. Now we need to actually see them work, right? And now we need to actually see what their work is like. With that being said, once again, my previous videos all stack upon one another. And we talk about trial cleaning in my previous video. We do talk about trial cleaning in my previous videos. When you do a trial cleaning, it's very important to be safe, to have them do the test cleaning at a friend's or a family's house for a couple reasons. One, if it goes wrong, the friend or family is more than likely not gonna just leave a review. They're gonna honestly let you know how the cleaning went, and especially if they end up trying to take your client, right? Let's say they early stage they try to take a client, a friend or family will more than likely let you know, hey, this person tried to steal me as a client, right? And so you want to be able to use the test cleaning to be able to pinpoint not only that but some other things out, right? Test them with the real job of practice cleaning. Pay attention to detail. How is the cleaning? Speed and efficiency. Not only how well do they clean, how long did it take them to clean, right? Especially if you're putting them on hourly, if they're taking more time, you're going to be losing more money. We talk about this in my previous video. Guys, I urge you all the time, go watch my previous videos. I'm telling you, these videos stack upon one another when it comes to the information that we talk about in our new videos. Communication. How do they communicate? When they arrive, do they let you know? If they're delayed, do they let you know? When they're leaving, do they let you know, right? And professionalism, right? Are they professional, right? Do they show a level of customer service, right? Do they show a level of customer service? Do they show a level when it comes to dress? Let's say that you don't give them a shirt. How do they dress? How do they dress? How do they greet the customer, right? And so these tell you more than an interview ever will, and that's why we do the test cleaning, because they can answer this and they can answer this. Okay, let's see how you actually clean. Let's say that they do a good job and the test cleaning is good. This is why I added this here. Trust patterns, not promises. Trust patterns, not promises. And so the reason I added this here, because this is very, very important. Anyone can say they are reliable, experienced, or hardworking, but what matters is the behavior over time. What you want to do, especially for a lot of your subcontractors or cleaners, for those that may do W-2, you want to have that 60 to 90 day period, right? And what you could do is you don't have to tell them that, but you can have it in the back of your mind. Have a 60 to 90 day period. I'm going to watch how they move, right? I'll give them appointments. I'm going to watch how they move. Watch patterns. If they're showing up early, communicating clearly, taking pride in their work, right? So you want to see those things. Those are going to let you know, like, okay, this is a cleaner, this is a subcontractor to stick with. But as well as the inverse, if they're showing up late, if they're not communicating, or they're not showing pride in their work, then we know, like, okay, this is not somebody that we can have on our, associated with our brand, because it doesn't match our, our company culture, and it doesn't match, my apology, it doesn't match the standard, the level of professionalism that we're trying to offer as a cleaner company, especially if we're trying to dominate our market. So with that being said, these are 5 different ways to avoid, technically 4, but then 5th, I wanted to add that extra gem to trust the patterns, not the promises, right? And so this is how you can avoid higher than your cleaning business, bad hires in your cleaning business. So once again, just pay attention to these things, right? Make sure that you're asking the right questions, make sure that we're asking the right interview questions, and make sure that when they're doing the test cleaning that we are paying attention to the details, especially if we can have them do the test cleaning or the trial cleaning with a friend or family, someone that we can go to their home and inspect it ourselves. That would be more than helpful, right? And it'll help us out a lot, filter out between bad cleaners and good cleaners. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for being here and watching this video as well. Once again, if you got some value from this video, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. Hit the bell notification. We drop videos every Tuesday and Thursday. If you want to comment, leave a comment as well. Subscribe to the channel. Once again, if you got the time, and you do got the time, because if you watch this video, you definitely got a couple seconds to go into the details of this video. Remember, free consultation. I said free booking. You will not steal my money. But look, free consultation, right? One-on-one consultation. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain, right? If it has to do with this information, my previous video, maybe you want to start a remote cleaning business, or maybe you're like, I want to see if you know a little bit more than what he's saying. Just book a consultation with me. Let's talk. Let me answer your questions, and let's see what I can do for you in terms of helping you get started as well. I think this is one of the easiest cleaning business models, or this is one of the easiest business models to get into, to be able to increase your income. And we talk about that. If you check out some of our last video, we talk about income in terms of revenue and gross profit, and then how we obviously allocate that looking at the net profit as well. So I think you guys would love this, and I just want to say once again, thank you guys for being here. I constantly appreciate the support. And as always, peace, love, and happiness.